You wake up some days and it feels like there's a weight sitting on your chest. Not a physical weight, but something heavier, something you can't explain to anyone around you. It's that silent pressure, that constant tension in your mind, that feeling that no matter what you do, it's not enough. And the first thing you tell yourself is, why is this happening to me? You start believing that life is unfair, that somehow you've been singled out to carry more than others. But what if that thought is exactly what's keeping you stuck? Because pain is not there to punish you. Pain is trying to tell you something. It's a signal. And the problem is, most people don't listen to it. They run from it. They try to escape it with distractions, with comfort, with anything that numbs the feeling temporarily. They scroll through their phones. They binge content. They waste hours doing things that don't move their life forward, all just to avoid facing that uncomfortable truth inside them. But pain doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It grows. It builds. It becomes heavier, louder, more suffocating until one day you can't ignore it anymore. Think about it. Every time you feel that heaviness, it's pointing at something. It's showing you a gap, the gap between who you are right now and who you know you could be. And that gap is where the discomfort lies. That's where the pressure comes from. You're not tired because life is too hard. You're tired because you're not aligned with your own potential. Deep down, you know you're capable of more. You know you could be more disciplined, more focused, more committed. But instead of stepping into that version of yourself, you hesitate. You delay. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. And every time you do that, the weight gets heavier. Pain is honest. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. If your habits are weak, pain will show you. If your mindset is fragile, pain will expose it. If you're wasting your time, avoiding responsibility, or settling for less than what you're capable of, pain will make sure you feel it. And instead of seeing that as something negative, you need to start seeing it as guidance. Because without that signal, you'd stay comfortable forever. You'd stay average. You'd never grow. The truth is, growth is uncomfortable by design. It's supposed to feel heavy. It's supposed to challenge you. Because if it didn't, everyone would do it. Everyone would be disciplined. Everyone would be successful. Everyone would become the best version of themselves. But that's not how it works. The discomfort is the filter. It separates the people who are willing to evolve from the people who choose to stay the same. And right now, you have a choice. You can keep interpreting pain as something that's happening against you, or you can start seeing it as something that's happening for you. Because every time you feel that pressure, it's an opportunity. It's a moment where life is pushing you, testing you, asking you a question. Are you going to rise, or are you going to retreat? Most people retreat. They look for the easiest way out. They convince themselves that they deserve rest, that they need a break. They'll try again later. But later never comes. Later turns into weeks, months, years. And before they know it, they're still in the same place, still feeling the same weight, still wondering why nothing has changed. But the people who rise, they respond differently. They don't run from the pain. They lean into it. They use it. They let it sharpen them. When they feel that discomfort, they don't see it as a sign to stop. They see it as a sign to push harder. Because they understand something most people don't. The only way to remove that heaviness is to become strong enough to carry it. You don't eliminate pain by avoiding it. You eliminate it by outgrowing it, and that process isn't easy. It requires honesty. It requires you to look at your life without excuses and admit where you're falling short. It requires you to take responsibility for your situation, even if it's not entirely your fault. Because the moment you take responsibility, you take back control. And control is power. When you start treating pain as a signal, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this trying to teach me? You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming a student of your own life. Every struggle becomes feedback. Every setback becomes information. Every moment of discomfort becomes a chance to improve, and slowly, something shifts inside you. That same weight that once felt unbearable starts to feel manageable. Not because it got lighter, but because you got stronger. Your mindset changes. Your habits improve. Your standards rise. You begin to realize that you're capable of handling more than you ever thought possible. And that realization, that's where real confidence comes from, not from easy wins, not from comfort, but from overcoming difficulty. Because when you've faced your pain head on, when you've stopped running and started responding, you build something unshakable inside yourself. You build resilience. You build mental toughness. You build the kind of strength that doesn't disappear when things get hard. And once you reach that point, life still has challenges. It still throws pressure at you. It still tests you, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. Because now you understand the language of pain. You know what it's trying to tell you. You know how to respond to it. And instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel prepared. So the next time you wake up and life feels heavy, don't immediately assume something is wrong. Don't rush to escape it. Pause for a moment and listen. Because that feeling, that discomfort, that pressure, it's trying to guide you toward the version of yourself you've been avoiding, the version that's stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more focused, the version that doesn't break under pressure, but grows because of it. You keep waiting for the moment when you finally feel ready. You tell yourself that one day you'll wake up full of energy, full of motivation, completely focused, and that will be the day everything changes. You imagine this perfect version of yourself who suddenly has the drive to work hard, stay consistent, and chase goals without hesitation. But that moment never comes. And the reason it never comes is because motivation is unreliable. It's temporary, it's emotional. It depends on how you feel, and your feelings change constantly. One day you feel inspired and you promise yourself that you're going to change your life. You plan everything out. You feel unstoppable. You believe this time is different. But then the next day, you wake up tired, your energy is gone, your excitement disappears. Suddenly, everything feels harder than it did before, and all those promises you made to yourself start fading away. That's the cycle most people live in. They chase motivation, they lose it, and then they blame themselves for not being consistent. But the truth is, consistency was never supposed to come from motivation. It comes from discipline. Discipline is completely different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect mood. It doesn't rely on inspiration. Discipline is a decision. It's a commitment you make to yourself that no matter what happens, no matter how you feel, you're going to do what needs to be done. And that's why discipline is the only real escape. Because when your life feels heavy, when everything feels overwhelming, the instinct is to look for a way out. You want relief. You want something to make things easier. So you look for comfort. You look for distractions. You look for anything that gives you a temporary break from the pressure. But all those things do is delay the problem. They don't fix anything. They don't make you stronger. They just keep you stuck in the same place. Discipline, on the other hand, changes everything. Because discipline forces action. It forces you to move when you don't want to. It forces you to show up when you feel like quitting. It forces you to push through resistance instead of avoiding it. And every time you do that, you build momentum. You create progress. You slowly start breaking out of the cycle that's been holding you back. At first, it feels uncomfortable. It feels unnatural. Your mind will fight you. It will come up with excuses. It will tell you that you need rest, that you can start later, that skipping one day doesn't matter. And if you're not careful, you'll listen to those thoughts. You'll convince yourself that it's okay to take it easy, that you deserve a break. But that's exactly how you stay stuck. Because discipline is built in the moments when you don't feel like doing the work. Anyone can take action when they feel motivated. Anyone can work hard when they're excited. That doesn't require strength. What requires strength is doing the work when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're not in the mood. That's where discipline is formed. That's where you separate yourself from the version of you that keeps making excuses. And the more you practice discipline, the more it becomes part of who you are. It stops feeling like something you have to force, and it starts feeling like something you naturally do. You don't waste time debating whether you should take action. You just act. You don't rely on emotions, you rely on standards. You set a level for yourself, and you refuse to go below it. That's when things start to change, because once you become disciplined, your life starts to stabilize. The chaos begins to disappear. You're no longer controlled by your moods, by your energy levels, by your environment. You become consistent. And consistency is what creates results. Small actions, repeated every single day, build something powerful over time. You don't see the results immediately. That's another reason people quit. They expect instant change. They expect immediate rewards. And when they don't see progress, they lose motivation and go back to their old habits. But discipline teaches you patience. It teaches you to trust the process. It teaches you to keep going even when the results are not visible yet. Because real growth happens slowly. It happens in the background, in the small decisions you make every day. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're changing something inside yourself. You're reinforcing a new identity. You're proving to yourself that you're not the kind of person who quits easily, and that identity becomes your foundation. Once you see yourself as someone who is disciplined, everything else becomes easier. Your confidence grows. Your self-respect increases. You stop doubting yourself because you have evidence that you can follow through on your commitments. And that feeling, that sense of control over your own life, is what most people are actually searching for. They think they need motivation, but what they really need is discipline, because discipline gives you freedom. It might sound strange, because discipline feels restrictive at first. It feels like you're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But in reality, it's the opposite. Discipline frees you from the chaos of inconsistency. It frees you from the frustration of starting and stopping over and over again. It frees you from the regret of knowing you could have done more, but didn't. When you're disciplined, you're in control. You decide your actions, not your emotions. You decide your direction, not your circumstances. You stop reacting to life and start shaping it. And that's how you escape, not by running away from problems, not by waiting for things to get easier, but by becoming stronger, more focused, more consistent, by building a version of yourself that can handle pressure, that can stay on track, that doesn't fall apart when things get difficult. Because the truth is, life will always have challenges. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, unexpected problems. You can't control those things, but you can control how you respond to them, and discipline is what gives you that control. It's what allows you to stay steady when everything around you feels uncertain. It's what keeps you moving forward when others stop. It's what turns effort into results and struggle into growth. So if your life feels heavy right now, stop looking for an easy way out. Stop waiting for motivation to save you, and start building discipline, because that's the only thing that will actually change your life. One of the hardest truths you'll ever face is that nobody is coming to save you. Think about it for a second. Your parents won't fix your life. Your teachers won't guide you forever. Your friends won't carry your burdens. Society won't bend to make things easier for you. No one owes you understanding, opportunities, or success. And yet, so many people go through life expecting that somehow, magically, someone or something will step in and rescue them from the weight they feel. They wait for luck, for chance, for someone to notice their struggle and hand them a solution. But life doesn't work that way. The moment you rely on someone else to solve your problems is the moment you trap yourself in weakness. Most people spend years waiting. They wait for the right time, for the right opportunity, for the right person to come along. They wait for someone to inspire them, to motivate them, to push them into action. They wait for life to become fair. And while they wait, they stagnate. They stay stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that make them feel heavy. They blame circumstances, blame people, blame luck, and blame fate, never realizing that the only thing standing between them and freedom is their own willingness to act. Here's the truth nobody tells you: waiting is a trap. Life doesn't wait. Life doesn't care. Every day you delay action, every day you hope someone else will rescue you, is a day wasted. And the weight you feel grows heavier with every moment you hesitate. Because responsibility cannot be postponed. It cannot be avoided. If you want to change your life, if you want to lift the heaviness off your shoulders, you must take it into your own hands. Being accountable to yourself is the ultimate form of power. When you stop waiting for someone else to solve your problems, you reclaim control. You stop blaming, complaining, and wishing. You start acting. You stop feeling like a victim and start becoming the person capable of carrying the weight of your life. That's where real freedom begins. The moment you accept that nobody is coming to save you, something inside you shifts. You begin to realize that the only way to succeed is to rely on yourself, and it's not easy. Accepting full responsibility for your life is terrifying because it forces you to look at yourself honestly. It forces you to admit where you've been weak, where you've made excuses, and where you've avoided hard decisions. It forces you to stop blaming others for your failures. Most people avoid this truth because it's uncomfortable. It challenges their ego, their sense of security, and the illusion that someone else is looking out for them. But facing it is exactly what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. Once you take responsibility, you gain clarity. You begin to see your life as a series of choices you can control, rather than a series of uncontrollable events. You start to understand that the heaviness you feel is not a punishment, it's a challenge, a call to action. And when you act, even in small ways, you start breaking free from the weight that has been holding you down. Every decision you make, every action you take compounds. Momentum builds, confidence grows, strength develops. You start realizing that the power to change your life was never outside. It was inside you all along. The moment you stop expecting someone to save you, you also stop wasting energy on excuses. No more, I can't because, or it's not fair that, or I'll try when excuses are chains that keep you anchored to mediocrity. When you recognize that the responsibility is yours and yours alone, excuses lose their power. You stop waiting for permission to pursue your goals. You stop letting fear control your actions. You stop letting doubt paralyze you. You act because you have to, because the alternative is living a life where the heaviness never lifts. And here's the reality: life will always be heavy. There will always be obstacles, challenges, setbacks, and pressure. But the weight only becomes unbearable if you wait for someone else to carry it for you. If you step up and take control, you realize that the heaviness was not a punishment, it was a test. It was an opportunity to build resilience, to grow, to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. When you embrace this truthfully, you also embrace your potential. You start realizing that every skill you develop, every habit you form, every bit of discipline you cultivate is a step toward independence. Every time you choose action over waiting, you reinforce the fact that your life is yours to shape. No one can give you freedom, no one can hand you success, and no one can remove the weight for you. But you can. And that realization is both terrifying and liberating at the same time. Many people spend their whole lives looking for shortcuts, looking for mentors, looking for someone to rescue them from their struggles. But real change doesn't come from shortcuts. Real change comes from stepping into the discomfort, taking responsibility, and becoming the person who can face life head on. The heavier life feels, the more urgent it becomes to develop this mindset. Because waiting for rescue only prolongs suffering. Acting for yourself shortens it, and the most powerful part is this: once you stop relying on others to save you, you start creating value for yourself and the world. You stop living passively. You stop waiting for opportunities. You start making them. You begin to understand that the weight of life is not meant to crush you. It's meant to forge you. It's meant to reveal the strength you didn't know you had, the resilience you didn't realize was inside you, and the discipline you didn't believe you could maintain. Every great person in history faced the same truth. Nobody was coming to save them. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't hope for someone else to fix their problems. They acted. They carried the weight themselves, day after day, decision after decision, struggle after struggle. And the difference between them and everyone else wasn't talent, luck, or connections. It was responsibility. They accepted it. They embraced it. They became the masters of their own lives, and now you have the same choice. You can continue to wait for life to get easier, for someone to help you, for circumstances to align, and stay in the same cycle of heaviness. Or you can recognize that the only person who can change your life is you. You can start taking responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your results. You can stop looking for excuses, stop blaming, and stop waiting. You can step into the discomfort, lift the weight yourself, and prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. The heaviness of life doesn't go away because someone cares or because luck favors you. It goes away because you take action, you build strength, you develop discipline, you embrace responsibility, you stop waiting and start moving, you stop blaming and start creating. You stop hoping and start doing. The moment you accept that nobody is coming to save you, everything changes, and once you fully embrace that truth, you start to realize something incredible. Freedom, power, and growth were never given. They were always earned. They are earned by those willing to carry their own weight, face their own struggles, and refuse to wait for someone else to rescue them. And that realization transforms everything about how you approach life. So here's the truth of it all. Life will always feel heavy. The struggles, the pressures, the setbacks, they don't magically disappear. The difference between someone who thrives and someone who remains stuck isn't luck, talent, or opportunity. It's mindset. It's how you respond to the weight you feel every single day. Pain is a signal, not a punishment. It tells you where you're avoiding growth, where you're hiding from responsibility, and where you've settled for less than your potential. Discipline is the only real escape. It's what allows you to act when motivation fades, when energy runs low, when life feels unbearable. Discipline builds strength, consistency, and momentum that cannot be taken away. And finally, nobody is coming to save you. Waiting for someone else to fix your life is a trap. The responsibility and the power to change your life rests entirely in your hands. When you combine these truths, you begin to see life differently. You start leaning into discomfort instead of avoiding it. You start building habits and routines that strengthen your mind and character. You take control of your actions, your decisions, and your results. And slowly, the weight that once felt unbearable becomes a source of strength. It becomes a measure of your resilience, a proof of your commitment, and a sign that you are capable of far more than you ever thought possible. So the next time life feels heavy, don't run, don't complain, don't wait for someone to rescue you. Stand up, face the struggle, and use it. Let the heaviness forge you, discipline guide you, and responsibility empower you. The weight you carry today is the strength you will wield tomorrow, and the life you build through action, focus, and relentless self-responsibility will be yours alone. Your life is in your hands. The choice is yours, the weight is yours, and so is the power to rise